we're back with blooper, all right? And there's so much about the blooper. I had to do a part 2. You guys really wanted it, and so I'm doing it for you. We're gonna mostly cover the dip switches, but I do want to go over like 2 things that, one, I didn't know about until I spent more time with blooper, and then the second thing I knew about but I just didn't play with until later on, and I also didn't really show you how it works. So those 2 things are the layers, but using the foot switches because it's super handy, and the second thing is the repeats. So let's try and do both of those right now. All right. Here we go. I have the Telecaster again, because it's the only guitar I have. So let's do this. All right. I think I'm comfortable. Here's what I sound like normally. You get it, all right? It doesn't really matter anyways, because like this isn't it's an effect pedal, but it's a looper, whatever. I'm going to hit this microphone when I go to press this. I can just tell. Okay, we're gonna start with layers. Undo, redo, using the foot switches, all right? And this is gonna throw me off a little bit because I'm backwards, all right? I'm up here, I'm up on the top, but we'll make do. So let's record something, all right? It's going to be a terrible loop, but we'll make it work. Cool. All right. So you hear that? We gotta add another layer on here. All right. So let me just record another part. Beautiful. Not really. All right, but that's the point here, all right? We want to undo this now. So here's what's cool. You don't want to bend over and turn the layers knob like this until you see the light blinking and know that you just undid that second mistake you made. You don't have time for that, all right? I don't either. That's why we're not going to do it. So we just don't even bother with that. What we'll do, and I'm going to play this so you can hear it, but what we're going to do is we're going to press and hold on the stop button. It's going to enter into an undo redo state, and then we can just hit the foot switches to undo and redo and basically turn this knob. All right? And it's so helpful. It's so nice. You don't have to bend over to adjust things. Let me show you. Gross. Undo redo state. Undo. All we hear is the first one. Let's redo it. Gross. Yeah. So we can undo it, and then you just press and hold again, and it'll take you out of the state. So now you're in Washington. Just kidding. Bad joke. So now let's record something else. This time I'm gonna turn the repeats knob up. We're gonna get into that, all right? So I'm gonna record something. What's gonna happen is it's gonna fade away, all right? What you're hearing now will fade away as I play something new, okay? Do you hear how quiet it is now? I'm gonna play something totally different key, everything, all right? Just 100% different. And I'm going to stay in the same key, but start building on that because the stuff we first did in a different key, it's going to fade away here. Pretty cool, right? It was a little chaotic at the beginning, but you should be able to tell what's going on now. Yeah. Let's undo. Oh, the chaos. It's coming back. See? It's cool. It's super helpful too. Is that it? That's it. That's where we started. Additionally, layers knob still works. Cool. Actually, I'll leave it here. All right. So that covers the two things that I wanted to go over that I didn't feel like I went over in the other video. Now let's get into div switches. First, let's just talk about what options there are. Then we'll start engaging and messing around with them. Okay, so we have an interesting kind of setup here, okay? We have these guys, and they are expression and ramping. So, in other words, if you have an expression pedal plugged in, then when you engage one of these, the expression pedal will do a sweep of that knob, because that's what each of these represents. A knob, obviously, layers, repeats, stability, mod A, mod B. That makes sense. Then we have basically just like different parameters. I don't really know if that's the best way to describe them, but that's what I'm going to say. So the first one we have is bounce. This means instead of just ramping and holding, it will modulate, so it'll keep going back and forth. Random, I think random will do modulation, but just at like random speeds and lengths and such. We'll see though when we try it out in a little bit. Wiggle, I believe, is just a different type of modulation, but we'll find out again in a little bit. Dry kill. This kills your dry signal coming into blooper, and then the only thing that comes out of blooper is wet, which is usually in like the loop. That's an easy one to show. CV clock, this just turns on the CV clock, which is over here, I believe, this jack. Then we have, the play dub. If we have play dub turned on, then after we record a loop, it will immediately go into overdub, or it will just play the loop that we recorded. Another easy one that we'll be able to show. You have bank A and bank B. These currently don't do anything, but in the future, with an update to the blooper, they're going to give the ability to turn like the mod A bank onto the mod B bank. So you could have like mod A's, the first three, what is it? The speed, the trimmer, and dropper. You could have all three of those in mod A and mod B. So then you could like double them up, or use the unquantized speed on mod A, but then use trimmer on mod B. Things like that. But like I said, currently they don't do anything because they're not set up to do that yet. Sync. I'm not sure about sync. I'm going to have to look that one up. Sweep adjusts the ramping in relation to the knob. So when it's down like this, it's on the B, which means bottom, and T means top. So it goes from the position of the knob either to the top or from the position to the bottom. And then polarity, I believe polarity changes if it goes from either 0% or 100% to the knob, or from the knob to 0 or to 100%. There's a cool little addition that happened there. Let me grab the manual and double check these last two to see what they do. Yeah. Okay. I was right. Polarity sets whether the movement starts at the knob position and moves up or down from there, or whether it moves towards the knob. And then the sweep, top will sweep from the knob position to maximum, and bottom will go from the knob position to the minimum. Okay, wiggle. Let me go back over that. Wiggle limits the range of the movement for small adjustments, similar to more typical modulation. So it limits the range of movement. Random turns the movement into random steps that change precisely. These will be interesting to hear. And then lastly, sync, which I didn't know what it does. This handy little dip switch syncs the speed of modulation to the loop length. This means that you will get the same type of movement at the same part of the loop consistently, or you can precisely select how long ramping takes. Once activated, the ramp knob chooses a subdivision or multiplication of the loop length for the ramping speed. That's interesting. I think I used this actually on the very first time that I messed with doing some ramping. So let's start off. We're just going to go through these first. All right. And I'm going to set some ground rules to make this really easy to understand. First of all, we are going to use modulation because that will allow us to continue to hear the effect, and it won't happen as fast. I will quickly do one without modulation though, so turn with bounce off at some point in this video. But we're going to go through all of them first with bounce on. All right. Secondly, we're just going to use the really gross loop that I made at the beginning of this because there's a lot of layers and there's plenty of space to use something that sounds pretty practical. So I'm not re-recording something because that'd be silly and just make the video longer. I think that's good. Oh, the other thing is I'm not going to mess with bank A and bank B because it does nothing. So we're just not going to engage those because it does nothing. And if you really think that it does something, then I'm sorry. You must have old firmware. All right, let's start with the first one. Layers. All right. And we're in bottom. So from the knob position to the bottom. So easy way to see how this works. Move that over a little bit. Okay, I think we're good. Sorry if it's crooked. So layers from wherever it's at to the bottom. Wow, look at it go. So our volume became the ramping speed. Oh boy, are you guys ready for this? So notice how it's going, removing, and now it's adding in. Alright, layers are being removed, and then now they're being added back in because modulation, bounce, so it's going back and forth. So what's happening is it's basically taking the knob back and forth. And then the volume now becomes our ramp speed, so we can make it as slow as possible. I don't know how slow that means. Are we ever gonna go back? Are we stuck here forever? Nope. It's moving through all of them. And we're back to the beginning. Let's speed this up. Let's go as fast as possible. That is something. Stop. Whew. Oh boy. All right, let's move on to the next one because that was weird. Repeats. All right, so now we're on repeats and it's modulating. This one might be really hard to hear. We might have to re-record something for this. Why would you want to ramp the repeats? We're gonna move on. Stability. All right, so it's going to the bottom. So for dramatic purposes, we will take it from here because it'll go all the way the full sweep. Let's make it take a little bit longer. Yep. That's as fast as it goes. Weird. All right, now this one can get fun. All right, Made. Let's turn that guy on. Can you see that it's on? See, it's on. We're gonna take this here. It's gonna go the opposite way. It's gonna go to the bottom from this position. Let me turn our stability back down so that we can hear it clearly. Let's go. That's a fun one. Pretty cool. Let's go on to 2. This should be trimmer. It's going to be a real weird one to modulate and to ramp and do a sweep of. Let's go to dropper. Or is 2 dropper? I think 2 might be dropper and 3 is trimmer. All right. Mod B. All right, that didn't work either. Let's try and record again. There we go. All right, so we're back. We're going to do mod B. There it goes. That's what I expected. So this is the stepped speed. Stepped speed, so it's going in the octaves and fifths, just like we wanted it to. Back and forth, all the way. Next should be, what is 5? I don't remember these, guys. Don't remember these. Scrambler! I probably should go slower with the ramping just because of the nature of Scrambler. And lastly, my favorite one, the filter. All right, so let's continue. We got a lot to go through here. This is a great way to give an example of the div switches. So I'm going to leave it on mod B on the filter, and then let's start messing with the rest of these. All right. So first, let me show you dry kill, because that's really easy. All right. You hear that, right? I'm strumming. And it's nothing. All right? Not doing anything in post. Nothing in post. All right? This is just, that's what dry kill does. It's helpful. It's nice. Okay. Now let's do sync, because this is a good example. I don't have a way to show CV clock. I'm sorry. I just don't. And we'll do play dub in just a second. We'll probably do that one last. So let's go on to sync. So this will sync the ramping to the size of the loop, which is super cool and will be really practical for doing this filter sweep, because it'll basically give it a wah kind of effect, and that's cool. So now when we dial in the speed of the ramping, that's going to keep that sweep of the filter in the same spots in the loop. Very consistent. Very nice. Super cool. Make sense? I hope it does, because that's probably the easiest example you're going to get. Next up, let's switch the sweep. Now it should sweep to the top. Sweeping to the top. Cool. All right, let's see what the polarity does. Polarity should be sets whether the movement starts at the knob position and moves up or down from there. Sorry, I gotta read this again. Whether it starts at the knob position and moves up or down from there, or whether it moves towards the knob. So does it start here and go whoop, or does it go there and whoop? So right now, polarity, wherein the sweep is to the top, so by default it would be going from the knob position and sweeping to the top. So then when we do the polarity, we're saying we want it to rise. Oh, this feels like a double negative. So I think it is. I think that should be saying, instead of going from here to there, it's going from here to there. Trying to get it right here so we can hear it. All right, I'm going to adjust the sweep. So it's starting down here, and it's going all the way up, and then coming back down. All right. Switch the polarity. Yep, so it just inverts it basically. Alright, so there you go. Let's go over, I think, the last one, which is the play dub. Actually, we didn't. We need to do random and wiggle. I'm sorry. So this is random. Wiggle. So this is making it smaller adjustments. See how it's real small, subtly kind of moving? Can you hear that? It's just moving like a little bit, hence wiggle. It's quite nice actually. Alright, we gotta do a new loop for this one so you can hear it. Alright, so what it's going to do is I'm going to hit record. As soon as I hit stop, it's going to immediately go into overdub. This is going to be really hard for me to do from behind here, but I'm going to do my best. Alright, don't go crazy when this loop is really bad. Alright. I already have to redo it. That was awful. But you get the point. Just to drive it home, I will do it again. I will try and be better this time. See? Immediately start playing or recording your overdub instead of it playing it and then instead of it playing and then stopping and just replaying the loop. So if you like that, great. All right, that's it. That is a very fast run through of the dip switches and a couple things that I feel like I missed and didn't really show. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, check out my other videos, and let me know what else you guys would like to see. Thanks for watching. Bye.